Nancy, nancybattye.com, and I'm here again today to have a little bit more of our conversation about friendship. So yesterday's question was, how good a friend are you to yourself? How much time do you spend celebrating who you are, respecting who you are, being appreciative of who you are, your gifts, your talents, and how well do you take care of yourself? So today, let's go a little bit further. So if we're going to decide what makes a good friend, we're going to first look at ourselves and decide, are we a good friend to us first? You know, it's like the analogy that they have when you're on an airplane. You know, if something were to happen, if you were to lose air pressure, then you would pull the oxygen mask down first, you take care of yourself, and then you're better able to support the next person beside you. And then you can pass oxygen to them, or then perhaps you can just be there to embrace them and offer them support and encouragement, or whatever it is that they need in that moment. So how do we do that for ourselves? How do we support and embrace and appreciate who we are? How do we slow our life down? How do we slow our day down enough that we can truly come from a place of, you know, recognizing who we are, and not just in terms of recognizing that, you know, that we're a person, that we're a being, that we're a role that we fill in our life. Perhaps it's as a caretaker, a caregiver, a mom, a dad, you know, grandparent, aunt, uncle, sister, you know, doctor, nurse, rocket scientist, you know, I mean, whatever it is. How do we really come from a space of thinking, wow, so let me get this straight. So I'm a divine child of God, and I've been granted this grace of these incredible opportunities in life to come here to live, to come here to expand, to come here to affect, to come here to create, to come here to touch another person's life. I mean, gosh, what an incredible gift that is, that we're trusted and loved so much that we would be given the opportunity to share love from our own heart to another person, to another human being, that we would be granted that type of honor, that we could, you know, look another person in the eye and have the deepest honor and respect for who they are, that they're this living being, that they breathe and they eat and they sleep and they smile and they laugh and they want to make a difference, and they want to make a difference in the world, and they want to make a difference in their own life, and they want to make a difference in their family. And so how do we start from that place of making a difference for ourselves? How do we honor who we are, and how do we take honoring who we are and transpose that so that when we truly become a friend for ourselves, that we can offer the best of who we are to be a friend for another person, that we can be there for another human being, to be so concerned about holding their heart in a space that we love and cherish and treasure who they are, and that we're so willing to look past, you know, any flaws or judgment that we might have for them in this human existence that they have, and that we would allow ourselves to look into their eyes and look into who they are and the role that they play in their life and what they bring to the world, and perhaps some of the struggles that they have, just trying to figure it all out, just trying to, perhaps if they're not fully awake, they're just waking up in the day and they're looking to manage, they're looking to survive, they're not even thinking about thriving, perhaps they're just looking to survive. And so what is the gift that we can give to another person in terms of a friendship, that we could so wholeheartedly embrace the essence and the glory and the beauty of who they are? How do we get to that point? How can we truly give the fullest capacity of who we are in terms of expectations of a friendship from another human being in our life that we trust, and that they have given us the grace of trusting us into their life. How can we bring our best foot forward, who we are, from our heart, to have, to hold, to develop, to offer, to give friendship. Friendship. It has to start with ourselves. So if you took the time yesterday, to write down, how are you a friend to yourself? Are there a couple of things that you could expand on today? What about self-care? What about, how do you start your day? How do you wake up in the day? How do you celebrate who you are? How do you give appreciation and thanks and gratitude for what you have and the opportunities before you? And how do you care for yourself throughout the day as it carries on, and meet and manage your responsibilities and all of those of who rely on you, and the things you're worrying about, the things you're stressing about, the things that you're frustrated about, the things you're angry about, the things that you think, oh man, I really don't want to have to do that, but I have to. So can you find a space? Can you find a space in the day to make it about you? So maybe that's the exercise for today. Why don't we do that for today? Why don't we think, ending today to start fresh for tomorrow? What are three things that you could do that would be around the idea of self-care? How could you nurture yourself? How could you nurture yourself? How could you wake up and set the day, set the intention that you're going to live, fully into the day, caring for what you need. If it's silence, if it's quietness, if it's stillness, if it's a beautiful cup of tea and you just want to sit and have it on your own, if you want to nurture your soul by listening to some music, or you want to dance around the room, or you want to read a book, and you just want to sit with your children. Sit with your children and hold their hands and tell them you love them. What could you do to show yourself how appreciative you are for who you are? How could you best be a friend to yourself? How could you acknowledge and appreciate who you are? So 3 things. See if you can come up with 3 things around self-care that's all about you. What can you do to affect a fabulous day by starting off with yourself, so that you're being a friend to yourself first? How can you be kind to yourself? How can you love yourself? Thanks for sharing with me right now. I'm Nancy Battye, nancybattye.com. We'll talk some more later in the